Tax audit under Section 44AB is mandatory if the assessee falls under any of the three cases. First, if the assessee has a specified profession and the gross receipts are more than 50 lakhs. Second, in case the assessee has a business which has turnover or gross receipts of more than 1 crore. Now, this limit will be up to 10 crores in case the cash receipts are up to 5% as well as the aggregate payments are up to 5%. One thing to be noted here is that in case of cash receipts, we have to check all receipts, not only of the turnover or revenue. We have to check all receipts. That means the receipt from sale of capital asset will also be included in the cash receipt calculation. The third case is a special case where assessee claims lower income as compared to Section 44 AD or 44 ADA, and the net total income, net taxable income, is also more than the basic exemption limit. And and also if the assessee is claiming lower income under Section 44 AE, 44 BB, or 44 BBB. In these three cases, the tax audit will be mandatory for the assessee. The tax audit must be done by a chartered accountant, and the tax audit report shall be furnished in Form 3CA or 3CB along with the statement of particulars in annexed Form 3CD. And the due date of furnishing audit report is 1 month prior to the due date of return filing under Section 139, subsection 1. For normal tax audit report, the return filing due date is 31st October. So tax audit report furnishing date is 30th of September. In case the assessee is covered under transfer pricing audit, the return filing due date is 30th of November. And hence, the due date of furnishing tax audit report will be 31st of October. In case the assessee has to mandatorily get tax audited and he does not or fails to get accounts audited, in that case, the penalty will be levied under Section 271B. And the penalty will be the lower of 0.5% of turnover or gross receipts and 1,50,000. So, whichever is lower will be the penalty. And now let's discuss the non applicability of Section 44AB. In case the person is declaring income under Section 44 ADA or 44 AD up to 6% or 8%, or in case of 44 ADA, 50%. Also, in case person is deriving income of nature referred under Section 44B, which is shipping business, and under 44 BBA, aircraft, in that case, Section 44 AB will not be applicable and tax audit will not be mandatory for the assessee. Now let's discuss all the three forms 3CA, 3CB, and 3CD. 3CD will always be furnished and it will be furnished along with 3CA or 3CB. In first case, let's discuss Form 3CA along with 3CD. If the accounts of assessee are already audited under any other law, let's say Companies Act 2013 or LLP Act 2008, in that case, the Form 3CA and Form 3CD will be furnished under tax audit. And in case accounts of assessee are not audited under any other law, in that case, Form 3CB and Form 3CD will be applicable. Also, revised tax audit report can be furnished up to the end of AY for which the report pertains. Now, if there is any difference of opinion between the auditor and the management, or let's say auditor has any observation which is different from what has been depicted in the books of accounts, then auditor has to report it in para number 3 of Form 3CA, and in case of Form 3CB, it is to be reported under para 5. Now let's discuss a bit of every form. Starting with Form 3CA. In Form 3CA, the auditor reports that we have audited the books of accounts of whatever the assessee's name is and has to provide the period for which the audit has been conducted and the balance sheet date. Similar details are to be furnished under Form 3CB in case assessee is not liable to be audited under any other law. And in Form 3CD, various details are to be furnished, starting with the name of the assessee, address, PAN number, status, previous year for which the tax audit has been conducted, assessment year. Also, if the assessee has been under 44 AD or ADA, the sections, the subclause are to be mentioned from A to E for 44 AB. And the important clauses are clause number 17, where difference of SDV, if it is more than 10%, is to be reported under section 50 capital gains and under section 43 CA, which is related to PGPP. And in clause 18, the block of asset is to be depicted. The depreciation which has been calculated as per the income tax law is to be shown under clause 19. Amount which is admissible under section 33 and 35. 35 is the research related expense, right? Those expenses are to be provided for. In clause number 20, sum paid to employee as bonus or commission is to be furnished. In clause number 21, amount which has been disallowed under various clauses is to be furnished. For example, if you have paid more than 10,000 cash per day, it is disallowed, which has to be furnished in clause 21. In clause number 22, amount of interest which is disallowed under section 23 of MSME Act 2006 for delay in payment to MSME, which is more than 45. If you have delayed payment more than 45 days, then that payment will also be disallowed under clause 22. Under clause number 23, payment to relatives, which is abnormal or supernatural, has to be disallowed under section clause 23. Under clause 30A, if the assessee is covered under transfer pricing, the primary and secondary adjustments which are to be made in transfer pricing, the details of it, this has to be furnished in clause 30A. And in clause 30B, interest expense under section 94B is to be shown. In clause number 30C, impermissible avoidance agreement, which is GAR under section 96 and its details. In clause number 34, details of TDS or TCS has to be shown. Similarly, in other clauses, you have to give various details, including the amount of GST and all.